This will be a video that's going to help you with getting data from WileyPlus into Excel or Minitab in order for you to do some data analysis. Now, I've opened up one of the homework problems in WileyPlus, and all I'm doing right now is I'm taking my mouse and I'm left clicking onto this data set right here to catch the data. I'm going to right click and I hit copy. Now first I'm going to open up Minitab and show you how to enter this in Minitab, and then I'll show you how to do this in Excel. And then once you get it into Minitab, you can easily take the worksheet from Minitab and put it into Excel and vice versa. So I'm opening up Minitab. And a nice thing that you can do with this is you can minimize Minitab and you can minimize WileyPlus so that you can have both of these at the same time and to be able to work together and see what you're doing, which is kind of nice. And I always tell my classes, always click into the sessions window and then hit enable commands, so that's always in case you wanted to use some commands. So I always do that, so I always say that. So now that I have that, I'm going to copy it into the worksheet. I click onto a cell, I right click and say paste cells. What appears is this, and what we want to use is use spaces as delimiters, because that way it will put it into the cells nicely for us in here. So I do this, and that's what the data looks like. And you're going to notice that there are spaces that have stars in them, and those are where either there was a return, and it's nice, it went right into one cell. Now what I can do any analysis now, because Minitab doesn't see these as any kind of data, so it will let me know. So let's just do a quick describe. Now you could either write describe, or you could go, I want to calculate. We can get the mean, so I got to say look at column 1 and give me the mean for that, and that would pop the mean. Now is Minitab counting that as a data point? No, because let's look at this describe command. And it tells us that it has 25 data points, 6 are not data points, aren't recognized as data points. And then we get our mean and our standard deviation and all those, with only recognizing 25 of them as being data points. And I went through and got rid of all those stars so that there would be complete data points, and I show that it's the same calculations just to make sure. Now from here I can get any of the statistical analysis that I would like, but what if I wanted to use Excel? Well, what you can do with that is you pull up Excel, and now you can just copy that column and put it right into Excel. So, and there I have all my data in Excel. And again, I can do any kind of, finding the mean and standard deviation. But let's look at this. If I wanted to put a title, this is data from Wiley. I could find the different functions that I need. So let's look at that. And very quickly, remember that on Blackboard I put the commands for Minitab, but you can also find them just by looking at the drop down as to things you can do. So, make sure that you look at these, because they can do, Minitab can do many, many things for you, so you can see all the different tools you have in Minitab, which are quite extensive. But I want to look at Excel right now, because I have those files on Blackboard for you right now. So we're going to look at this, and let's do average, and let's see where we can find the different formulas if we don't know them. So I'm going to show you just some of the ways that you can find out the different functions on Excel. If you go into formulas, right in here, your most recently used, you'll see those. There are financial formulas, the logical formulas, trues and false, what you can do with text, time and date, lookup references, math and trig, right here, and more functions. And there's where you can find the statistical functions. Another way that you could find the different functions is to actually tap onto this function symbol, and in here you can select a category. right there, just like we saw when I went into the formulas tab. So many different ways to get to the formulas that you need in case you don't know them. So let's say that I go in here and I wanted to find out statistically how to calculate the average. I'd hit OK, and in that space right there I'm going to put the average, and I'm going to say I want to go from A2 all the way down to A26, hit OK, and there's the average. And now I can copy that, paste that number right there, and I want to paste just that value, and in here I can put an apostrophe, click check, and there I can see exactly what I did. And if I want to put the exact range, or if I want to just give the general formula, I could go in here and just say range if I so desire. Let's say that I wanted to do that, so I wanted a generic. But if I wanted to show that it was the average of exactly which cells, I could have left it like the original that you saw. So I could have left it just like that. And the way, again, that you make a formula into text is you just put an apostrophe there. So now you see that the average of those cells is 8.56. What's nice here is, let's say that we're doing variation. You have a choice between the variation for the population and the variation for the sample, whereas in Minitab you don't have that option. So here I can do, okay, here's the variation of the population, hit OK, and now, so we're going to find the variation. What's nice about Excel is when I go in here, I can have a choice between the variation for the population and the variation for the sample, which are different, because remember, the population is, if this was everything, the calculation of variation just has the population size in the denominator of the calculation, whereas for the sample you have to take the sample size minus 1. So let's take a look at this. I'd have this, I hit OK, and I've got my range of cells to be this. And there's my number. I can copy that. I want to paste the value, and now I can make that so I can know that's the variation of those. Now let's say that I am assuming that this is not a population but a sample, and I collect my data. And what I did is, when I got to the top here, I left click, and I keep my finger left click till I get to the very last data value that I want. I'm dragging it, and I hit OK. So now I have that. Apostrophe there. And I made a mistake, so I'm just going to delete that. Shift the cells to the left, and no big damage there, done. So you can see that the calculation is just a bit different, because again, you're dividing by a different, one is going to be 25, the other one's going to be 24. Now, in our next installment, we're going to show how to take how to use Minitab to find both the population and the sample. Since Minitab assumes that we're in a sample, how do we take Minitab's answers and make it for a population? And then a few other things.